Friends, if you're watching this on your phone right now, or listening while driving with your navigation on, I want you to do one thing for the next 20 minutes. Take your eyes off the screen, even for just 1 second, and look up at the sky above your head. You can't see it, but 400 to 500 kilometers above you in outer space, a silent but brutal land grab war is unfolding, and how this war ends will decide something very real. Over the next 30 years, every message you send, every gigabyte you download, even the movement of money in your account, who you have to pay tolls to. Earlier this month, Elon Musk's SpaceX made a move that quietly terrified the global aerospace community. He announced that 4,400 Starlink satellites would be moved down from 550 kilometers to 480 kilometers in orbit. Most tech media explained it like this: Musk is lowering orbit altitude to avoid space debris and improve orbital safety. Sounds responsible, right? Sounds like a tech leader with moral vision. Let me be very cold and very clear with you. Don't fall for PR language. In capital markets and geopolitics, there is no charity. What Musk just did was not a defensive retreat. It was a precisely calculated offensive land seizure. If low Earth orbit were real estate, what Musk just did was change the zoning laws, turning 480 kilometers, which should belong to all humanity, into SpaceX's private backyard. This wasn't a simple orbital adjustment. This was global asset confirmation, aimed especially at China. He is wrapping the Earth in a suit of chainmail made of 10,000 satellites, and once it's on, you can't take it off. To understand this game, you have to stop thinking like an astronomy hobbyist and start thinking like a commercial real estate developer. Not all orbits are equal. Just like Manhattan and Detroit aren't priced the same. Low Earth orbit is vast, but the portion suitable for low latency satellite internet is extremely narrow. So why drop from 550 kilometers to 480 kilometers? Is it really just about debris avoidance? Partly. NASA data shows debris density below 500 kilometers is over 60% lower than at 550 kilometers. But that proves the real point. 480 kilometers is the cleanest, safest real estate in space right now. And more importantly, it's a physics miracle. First, lower latency. 70 kilometers closer to Earth means milliseconds saved, huge for high-frequency trading and military command. Second, and this is the genius move, atmospheric drag. At 480 kilometers, there's still thin atmosphere. If a satellite fails, it naturally deorbits and burns up within years instead of becoming permanent space junk. So what does that mean? It means 480 kilometers is Midtown Manhattan of low Earth orbit. Clean, efficient, high liquidity. By nailing 4,400 satellites there, Musk is telling the world this land is taken, and I'm feeling it completely. If you're a latecomer, say China's GW constellation or Qianfan, and you want in, sorry, no seats left. It's like walking into a sold-out movie theater. You may have a ticket, but you're standing in the aisle or stuck in the worst corner. Some idealists ask, isn't space for all humanity? Doesn't the UN regulate this? That brings us to the real judge here, the ITU, the International Telecommunication Union, and it has one brutal rule that sounds fair but isn't. First come, first served. Whoever registers first, launches first, and transmits first gets priority rights to that orbit and frequency. As long as Starlink satellites are flying and transmitting, any newcomer that causes interference is ruled illegal and must shut down or move. This isn't tech competition. This is 19th century Wild West land grabbing. Whose horse runs faster? Whose flag goes up first? The land is theirs. Now look at the chips on the table, dealer. Over 10,000 satellites in orbit. Starlink included, about 2/3 of all active satellites worldwide. China, GW plus Qianfan combined around 250 satellites. 10,000 versus 250A. And the increment gap is even scarier. In 2025, SpaceX launched 167 orbital missions, accounting for 85% of all U.S. launches. Basically, one launch every 2 days. China launched 92 times that year. Even at full speed, Musk launches nearly twice as fast. It's like you're still laying foundations while your neighbor 3D prints an entire city. By the time your building is done, the roads are blocked and utilities cut. And Musk's deadliest move isn't just occupying seats, it's locking the door. Here's the detail most people miss. Starlink satellites are designed to last only 5 years. People mock this as low quality. In reality, it's Musk's greatest moat. 5 years means constant replacement. Old satellites burn up, new ones immediately fill the slot. A dynamic steel wall. There is never a vacancy at 480 kilometers. Wait for retirement slots. Too late, replacements are already on the way. Try to slip one in. No gap. 10,000 satellites form an airtight net. Between December 2024 and May 2025 alone, Starlink executed 140,000 collision avoidance maneuvers, one every 3 minutes. That means any foreign spacecraft entering this zone faces massive collision risk. No lasers needed, just congestion. Insurance premiums explode. Launch windows vanish. This is physical monopoly. No sanctions, no paperwork, just physics and scale. If you don't understand this, you won't understand why China is mobilizing nationally into commercial space. Because if we don't fight, the sky stops being public. We don't just pay tolls, we may lose the road entirely. But Musk's dominance isn't just rockets. It's his financial closed loop, unprecedented in commercial history. He launches satellites to print money. We still launch satellites by burning money. That gap is the real nuclear weapon. In 2025, Starlink generated $11.8 billion in revenue, not funding. Not subsidies, operating cash flow. That means SpaceX has completed the positive margin loop of space. Each satellite earns broadband fees worldwide. That money builds the next rocket and the next satellite batch. An infinite ammo factory. Global users are funding American space dominance. This is positive cash flow versus negative cash flow warfare, and the core weapon is Falcon 9. People admire its landing videos. Capital sees something else. An auditor's nightmare. Traditional rockets cost hundreds of millions and are thrown away. Falcon 9's reusable first stage crushed launch cost to about $15 million per mission. That's a fraction of global averages. This is unit economics annihilation. Musk holds the pricing butcher's knife. He can drop prices until competitors bleed out or swing it endlessly if needed. With money and launch cadence, he moves to saturation bombing. 167 launches a year isn't about volume, it's about iteration speed. Satellite fails. No problem. 2 days later, a better one goes up. Always newer. Always denser. No gaps. No silence. This is true industrialization. Satellite launches become logistics, not miracles. And 480 kilometers isn't the end. Next weapon, Starlink V3, targeting 350 kilometers ultra-low orbit. This is hell mode. Stronger drag, shorter life. Extreme propulsion requirements. And that's exactly why Musk wants it. High-low double lock. 480 kilometers blocks most competitors. 350 kilometers blocks everyone without top-tier tech. Once both are filled, low Earth orbit gets double locked. Inside the wall, Musk's empire, positive feedback forever. Outside, capital graveyard. So does China still have a chance? Only if it breaks through during 2026 to 2028, the final survival window, because ETU has another rule: 7-year deployment or reset. Fail to deploy 100% within 7 years, your orbit and frequencies are confiscated. That means GW and Tianfeng must launch 3,000 satellites in 3 years. Miss the line, and trillions in ground infrastructure become worthless sunk assets. That's why Musk rushed to lock 480 kilometers. He's betting China can't cross the line. So how do we break out? Not with money, not with copying Falcon 9. Our only chance is China's dual leverage. First, institutional reform. The creation of China's Commercial Space Administration changed everything. State teams handle heavy rockets and deep space. Mass deployment is handed to private firms. No more internal friction. Second, supply chain supremacy. Musk's strength is in space, China's is on Earth. 5G infrastructure, consumer electronics, manufacturing. Satellite internet is still internet. While Starlink terminals cost hundreds, China can push costs toward commodity pricing. Cheap terminals drive adoption across the Middle East, Africa, Belt and Road countries. Demand forces supply. This war isn't about building a better rocket, it's about a paradigm shift. From engineering projects to real businesses, private rocket firms must make money, not survive on financing. If we win, space becomes a G2 duopoly. If we lose, we rent forever. In the end, the future likely splits into two pricing systems. Starlink for the West, China's system for the global South, and in space, being second still matters, because anything other than zero is scarce. So, as investors, stop cheering at launch flames. Watch the invisible ledger. 2. Metrics matter. Orbit share, cost per kilogram, below $5,000. In this industry, there is no small and beautiful, only big and complete, or dead. If you can't become the dealer within the window, you rent forever. That's why this sky matters. I am Ultra Ball Macro. See you next time.